What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets, and break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward. Talk about other factors out there what you should be watching for as time goes on for Tesla. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 in total. Deposit $5,000 and you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. The offer ends on July 31st, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, we have this bearish divergence right over here, and we are coming down just a bit as we predicted yesterday. Now, I think Tesla has fully come down to fill this gap, and we came all the way down to about 338 a share. So the question is, where will Tesla form a base? If we could hold support at 341, this could try some kind of rebound move for 345 or above. But if we can't hold 341, there's going to be a risk of us retesting 338 or below. Now, right now, Tesla has a double top leg structure, a big rejection, and the odds do favor that downside move, at least for now. But I do think this might get a small bounce first, and we'll have to see if we get a rejection afterwards or not. So please keep that in mind. There's been some news that's come out about how the sales in Portugal and Spain have fallen in the month of May for Tesla, whereas other EV sales are still doing really well. This is not really a surprise because you guys can see that although Tesla is only selling about 794 cars in Spain, about 292 in Portugal for the month of May, the sales are still down year over year by 29 and 68%. It's not a surprise because we know in Europe their sales are not doing as well for the time being. Also in France, their sales are down 67% compared to the same period last year, as they only sold about 721 vehicles. Not the best of news, at least for now. And hopefully we make a comeback for the month of June, but that's what we're seeing so far with European sales being down. They're also down in Denmark, the Netherlands, and many other regions. So that's the reason why they're getting a lot of criticism right now. That could be part of why we're dipping. Not to mention because of the steel tariffs that have been imposed. So for now, there's been some negative news. I want to see if Tesla could come back up to fill this gap once we open back up to like 345 for a small bounce, and we'll see if it rejects after that or not. For now, the sales are down, and I just want to give you guys a warning about that. Now, when it comes to more news, today is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. We're going to be expecting some volatility around 10 a.m. as well as we have the ISM manufacturing numbers coming out. This will be important for employment, new orders, and prices. So expect some volatility at 10. Then at 1 p.m., we also have Jerome Powell giving a speech. I didn't mention this in my previous video. I didn't see this, but he's going to be giving his opening remarks at the Federal Reserve's board, the International Finance Division. He's going to be giving a speech over there at the conference. So keep that in mind. That's going to be very important as well. It might cause some volatility if he says anything. There's a lot of tension right now between the US and China. Now, China is accusing the US of violating trade deals. But keep in mind, President Trump has still agreed to speak with Xi Jinping, and there should be a call coming up very soon. Despite that, like I said before, we have those new tariffs on steel, which could be affecting the market a bit negatively. And we'll see what ends up happening as time goes on. But that's what we're seeing, at least on main headlines for now. So as far as Tesla goes, like I said before, we need to see Tesla hold this 341 area. If we can't hold 341, I do expect us to retest 338 or below. But if we hold 341, then we could be looking for a rebound move. There is a gap from the pre-market, so there's a very, very good chance that Tesla will kind of like push slowly to fill that gap around 345 to 346. Then we'll see if Tesla could get back above like 350 to bounce higher. If we can't, we could still turn back down like this. So just be very careful with Tesla. We need to get back above our 20 EMA to see a bigger bounce. I do anticipate a push to fill that gap, though, towards that 345 area. Now, June is historically a bullish month, so if we get a dip, that's going to be a very good blessing because we could see Tesla run very, very close to 400 by the end of the month. In my personal opinion, there's a lot of upside potential for the stock, so keep that in mind as well. As far as SPY is going, very similar setup. We kind of tipped it, but we're going to try to push a little bit to fill this gap, get back up to 588. But keep in mind that on the 30 minutes time frame, when we zoom out like this, we still have a head and shoulders like pattern. So if SPY could break and hold above 592, we could try to invalidate this and start pushing back up towards these highs. But if we can't do that, there's going to be a risk of us rejecting and losing 585. start dipping back down to fill that gap as we still have this head and shoulders like pattern. So you want to break 592 to break higher. If we can't, we're going to likely start dipping lower to fill that gap. So keep that in mind. Same thing with the QQQ. If we end up breaking past 523, we're looking for this to break as well, which is where this imbalance is. If we could break that, that's going to be a lot better. If we can't break that, there's going to be a risk of us turning back down towards 515. If that doesn't hold, we could turn back down off this head and shoulders, which is still valid. So be careful looking at this setup, but we'll see if we break past 523 or not. We do have Jerome Powell giving a speech today. For now, the head and shoulders is valid, so we'll see if this rejects. There's still that risk of it. We're going to have to wait on the very important ISM numbers. Same thing with the IWM. Unless we get back above 208 to bounce, there's going to be a risk of us rejecting and turning back down to fill that gap. ES has a similar setup. It is trying to push a little bit, but there is that head and shoulders. It might try to revisit around 5,900 and 9. If that breaks, we could go a bit higher, but if we can't break that, there's going to be a risk of us turning down. Off this left shoulder, head and right shoulder, we could still start dipping towards 58.50 or below. For NQ, it's the same thing. We have this left shoulder, we have a head, then we have a potential right shoulder. If we break and hold above 21,360, we're looking for a move up. If we can't, there's going to be a risk of us dipping to 21,000 or below, and that could actually take us lower. For Bitcoin, we are in the middle right now between supply and demand. We could try to push for 104,692. There's a very, very good chance we try to push a bit higher here, but then we'll see if it rejects off that if the market goes lower. Like I said about Tesla, we're looking for an attempt to fill that gap to 345. If we reclaim 350, we could be looking for a bigger bounce, but be careful. Even if we hit 345 to 348, we could still turn back down. So you want to be very careful once we hit resistance. On Nvda, we're going to be likely retesting 135 to 138, and we'll see if it rejects off that. Look for a small push for 135.67 to 138 afterwards. But if we can't break the high around 140, we could still turn back down. So be careful. On Aapl, so left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Unless we get back above 202 to bounce, we still have a risk of returning to about 197.5 or below. For a few more out there, we have AMD was making lower highs here. Looking for a test of 112.5, and we'll see if it rejects or not. If we break this, we could be going higher. If not, we could be turning back down. For Coinbase, we're dipping a little bit. I want to see if this can get back above 250. We might retest 252, and we'll see if it rejects or not. I do think that 250 retest could be coming, but be careful because it could still reject. Amazon has a head and shoulders right here, at least a small one. Needs to break past 206 to really rebound. If we can't, we're getting very tight here, and there's going to be a risk of us returning to 202. Meta also has a head and shoulders like pattern. I would like to see it get back above like 652 to remain bullish. If it can't do that, we're looking for a retest of like 638. Google is making lower highs. Unless we get back above 170, we're still favoring that we might just kind of push and then dip lower. So look for a test of 170, so we'll see if it rejects from there. Microsoft is trading sideways, could be retesting 457, so just be very careful. So anyways, as far as the market's going, we're seeing the VIX gapping up right now. We're going to see if the VIX continues to go higher or not. For now, there's going to be a risk of the market coming down a bit if we get a rejection, and that could slow Tesla down as we saw the European sales dip. Now, we'll see what happens when the ISM manufacturing numbers come out at 10 o'clock a.m., so get ready for volatility then. Until then, I thank you all so much for listening. Look for a small push in Tesla to try to fill that gap around 345, and we'll see if it rejects off that, so be very careful. It already came down quite a bit like we were predicting from yesterday, and so far we got that prediction correct. So be ready, and in case Tesla does get a big dip, don't be a major bear or expect it to crash. Look at this as a buying opportunity for what's about to come later on in June as we get close to the Robotaxi launch event, okay? Non-financial advice when I say that. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.